Hello, awesome, beautiful humans across the globe. What's going on? Hey, so Jordan Bridger here, and thank you for jumping on. I want to deep dive into doubt, and this will probably be like a part 7 to 22 part video, because doubt seems to be a huge issue for people who are in the manifesting world. I don't care if you follow Neville or your next door neighbor's mother, whoever it is that you follow, it seems to me that doubt is something that really kicks people out of believing that they deserve their desire. So before we go into the science of doubt and what's going on in the mind, and also a kind of a philosophical deep dive into what it is and how to overcome it, we have to start from the state of deserving, okay? So what that means is you can't see your desire as out of reach. You have to see that you and your desire are one, okay? If not, look at what happens. There's a gap, okay? Now, your brain wants to fill that gap. Your brain is a storyteller and a pattern seeker, okay? That means it's going to want to find ways in which to bridge the gap. So the quickest access for your brain to go there is to create another story. Oh, there's a gap because. Oh, there's a gap because. Now remember, your brain, through your ego, is designed to self-protect, okay? That means when it looks here, your brain's default interpretation isn't going to be, oh, that's just because you have to believe a little bit more, or that's just because you are seeing an illusion, or that's just because you've misinterpreted it, or right? So it's not going to give you a list of positive reasons. Because it wants to self-protect, it's going to go straight to negative. It's going to be like, you're not believing enough, or you haven't impressed the subconscious, or you haven't said enough affirmations, or you haven't done enough yoga. Whatever it is, it's going to fill that gap in every single time. And it's going to want to do this unless you train it otherwise. There's going to be another video where I'm going to be talking about why Neville's work differs from most people in the law of assumption communities, as well as law of belief communities, as well as the law of attraction communities, as well as the law in general across society. Sorry, that was a really dumb joke. But anyhow, what I want to do is explore the idea of doubt. But to understand the idea of doubt, we have to understand what's happening when you're changing your state. So remember, your state is your identity, but your identity is a collection of different things: your beliefs, your emotions, your history, your memories, all of your perceptions, right? All of those different things, okay? So when you are trying to change, okay, when you're trying to change from who you are now that doesn't have or lacks, right, what you desire, or the person that you want in your life, or the house that you desire, whatever it is, okay, that's this now. Okay. And then you want to be here who has everything that you want, and you want to be in a state of having, not in a state of waiting. Okay. Do you get it? So you want to be in the state of, I no longer lack. That's really what it is. But here's the thing. This is why I keep showing it this. This is not me just doing a weird kind of like Pilates move or karate, like, hello, Dino-san. So anyhow, what you're doing is you see what I see, right? There's a gap. There's a gap between the two, okay? Obviously, with Neville's techniques and approach is you actually have no gap. You're closing the gap. Problem is that while we're changing and becoming, because that is really what's happening, even though we know deep inside, when we go inside and we create these scenes where the person who has, problem is your mind wants to look outside after the scene and say, yeah, but there's a gap. Yeah, but there's a gap. Yeah, but there's a gap, right? And so what's happening is you are essentially looking to the outside still as the authority. So that's what doubt does, is it displaces your ability to recognize who is more powerful. And when I say who, I'm talking about the inner self, okay? So when you are exploring this process and you're manifesting, what is occurring is the more that you look outside, okay, so here you are, the more that you look outside, the more that you give your power away, the more that you accept that something else other than the inner self is more powerful. Look at, this is the gap, okay? Again, not Pilates, right? So you want to bridge the gap. But the bridge the gap is to now tell a different story that is empowering. And so what you want to look at is you want to see doubt as the gap maker, and that your belief is the gap breaker. Ooh, that's good. Write that down on a t-shirt somewhere. So, again, what you want to do is you want to remove doubt. Here's the thing. The unpopular opinion, hashtag, wait a minute, it's hashtag then unpopular opinion. Dang it, I got to redo that. So anyhow, hashtag unpopular opinion. So what you really, really want to see and embrace is that you are breaking that gap. You are bridging that gap. You are making the gap disappear for all intents purposes, right? And so the way that you do that is, again, since your brain's a storyteller, that means you now have to be the storyteller. You don't just let your brain run riot and go crazy and tell stories that don't really help you, okay? So, again, and if you've watched my videos, you know you can use things like self-gaslighting. Like, oh my gosh, I'm not that person ever. Are you kidding me right now? Right? Anything along those lines. You can also reinforce it by using emotive or affective affirmations. I like that as well. Dang, man, I'm coming up with some good stuff today. Affective, not effective. Affective, which is the neuroscience word for emotions, right? You want emotionally powered affirmations, okay, to bridge the gap, because you want them obviously from the perspective of the new person, okay? Wow, this car is amazing. Oh my gosh, did you see how fast I was able to go? And the cops didn't even touch me. I'm not encouraging criminal behavior. And if you do, you do not get to reference this video. But anyhow, back to the regular schedule program. So when we're talking about doubt, okay, you have to see that doubt's the gap maker. You are the gap breaker, okay? And these are tools and strategies to ensure that you actually keep that from getting wider. Here's the thing about gap, and gaps and doubt, is that you will always have them, okay? So, and I'd rather us be honest about that rather than like create so much anxiety as to whether or not whether we're going to have doubt during the process of becoming within who we want to be. Okay. Neville even says this in many different ways. You will always have God and Satan with you, right? So, and Satan is just the embodiment of doubt. So we have to really get okay with doubt. And in fact, if we look at doubt as the enemy, what does Jesus say? Right? And remember, Jesus is your imagination. What you're doing is you're going in and you're seeing doubt, not as an enemy, but as a friend. Because what do? You love your enemies. What happens when you love your enemies? They're no longer enemies, right? So get really good at becoming friends with your doubt, okay? Does not mean you sit there and try to be like, I want to just sit here and doubt for 2 hours and get really good at it. No, what it means is that you offer different perspectives. To me, reframing, which is taken from behavioral science, is an act of love. So how do you do that? Okay, so look at your doubts and you reframe them. Hey, thank you for showing me that I actually have a limiting belief. Hey, thank you for showing me that I'm still on the journey to getting rid of that belief. Thank you for showing me. Do you hear that language? Like, I get to understand myself more because I've just realized I have a doubt that still needs to be dealt with. Okay? So it's a very different perspective rather than, oh crap, I just doubted. That sounds like I went to the bathroom. I didn't. But that is kind of what we're doing. We're crapping bricks every time we doubt because we think something went wrong, that we've lost our manifestation, that we need to start again, and so on and so forth. Okay? So that is not what's happening. You are not losing your manifestation unless you take the joyride and run with doubt. Then that's different, okay? Because that means you're just walking in the gap and you're kind of following the trail of doubt and you're walking away from this person over here. Right? I get that the hands were mixed up for that moment. Don't get confused. But, all right. So are you with me? So basically doubt is not to be seen as an enemy. Okay. And so what you want to do is you want to use the power of reframing as an opportunity to romanticize the process that's happening. Okay, because the process that's happening is this is the old dude who wants to keep coming and saying, hey, I'm knocking on the door because this is who you were before. So then what's happening is that the more that you open the door, you're letting doubt in. So you got to ignore it. Okay, so that's also the technique, which I have another video on. So check out that one on how to turn ignoring into an actual technique to help you get better and stronger and more focused. And remember, that's what doubt is about as well. You're becoming less and less focused on the new self. So again, hyper focus. Use the positive side of flow to create an environment that helps you hyper focus on the new self. So again, is there things in your environment that are causing you to doubt? Now, by the way, this is not a challenge to become a monk. Okay. This is not I need to throw everything away that's causing me to doubt. Okay. One, that's unrealistic. Two, you don't want to do that, because even like in the work of Joseph Murphy, he says you really want to get to a point where those things just don't have any emotional value to you anymore, that they can be around you. So if you want to create a scene where you're constantly overcoming doubts, right? So again, where everybody's like wowed by you. All your friends are like, whoa, you're a master manifester, right? And so use these as techniques to bridge the gap to become the new person. Because remember, this is all about becoming. And the new person, it's not that you will never have doubts even as the new person, okay? It's that you will look at doubt very differently when it shows up. You'll be like, yeah, I'm not that person. So I don't even know what you're thinking anymore, right? So again, you're kind of like softly gaslighting yourself because you're like, that's not me anymore, okay? So there's loads more like research behind this. There's loads more techniques behind this, but here's 3 or 4 that I've just thrown at you today as a part 2 of doubt. We're going to go more into this, and I'm going to do a course on this, and we're going to get better at controlling our doubt. So hopefully these were some nice science-backed tips for you. Let me know which one really jumps out at you or one that you may have used. So share that below. Thank you for jumping on and being a part of the channel, and I will see you soon. Much love to you all.